Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 11th episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. I'm your host, Ishan Agarwal, and in this series, I spotlight influential and inspiring leaders who can inspire and teach us all. Today, we're going to look at a young leader who's inspired millions across the globe, Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg, born on January 3rd in 2003 in Stockholm, Sweden, is a name that's now synonymous with climate activism. But what makes her story so inspiring? It's not just her accomplishments, though they are amazing nonetheless. It's her courage, her resilience, and her ability to move people into action. First, let's get into her upbringing. Greta grew up in a family that valued knowledge and awareness. Her mother, Milena Ernman, is an opera singer, and her father, Sven Thunberg, is an actor. They supported Greta's passion for the environment, even when it meant making significant lifestyle changes, like giving up flying to reduce their family's carbon footprint. For a lot of people, that isn't very easy. Greta's parents taught her the importance of standing by her values, even when it's difficult. But her journey wasn't always easy. Greta was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a condition she has referred to as her superpower. While others might see it as a challenge, Greta uses it to focus intensely on her mission. Greta's story took a remarkable turn when at just 15 years old, she decided to strike outside the Swedish Parliament with a hand-painted sign reading, "School Strike for Climate." Yes, you heard me right. 15 years old. Incredible, right? At first, she was alone, but her solitary protest soon became a global phenomenon. This movement, Fridays for Future, inspired millions of students worldwide to skip school and demand a stronger action on climate change. Now imagine that. One determined teenager igniting a global movement. It shows us how one person, no matter how young they are, how one voice, no matter how small it may seem, can change the world and persuade and inspire millions. Wow! Greta's ability to communicate complex scientific data in a straightforward, compelling way has been pivotal. She speaks with passion, urgency, and honesty, challenging world leaders to act. Who could forget her fiery speech at the United Nations, where she declared, "How dare you?" Her speeches have inspired both young and old to take the climate crisis seriously. Greta has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize multiple times, named Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 2019, and has received numerous accolades for her activism. But perhaps her greatest accomplishment is mobilizing millions of people to take action, from students to policymakers. Greta shows massive resilience. Imagine being a 16-year-old talking to politicians and leaders at a UN summit and not being scared at all to tell them and express to them that they are not making the right decisions. It's impressive, right? Of course, Greta's journey hasn't been without challenges. She has faced criticism from powerful figures, personal attacks, and even imprisonment, all of which have happened many times. An example of this is a year ago. She was detained during a protest in Germany, standing against environmental destruction. But that didn't stop Greta. She once said, "We can't save the world by playing by the rules, because the rules have to change." Now, what does Greta's story mean for students? First, Greta teaches us the power of youth activism. You don't need to be an adult to make a difference. Whether it's starting a recycling program in your school, or encouraging your community to plant trees, every small action adds up. Second, Greta's persistence reminds us to stay strong in the face of challenges. Whether it's criticism, failure, or obstacles, resilience is key to making an impact. And third, she shows us the importance of caring for our planet. Schools can take inspiration from Greta by incorporating environmental education into their activities, hosting green fairs, reducing waste, or creating nature clubs. Remember, although climate change related things are the main things we can take away from Greta, it doesn't mean that some of the amazing life skills from Greta are just climate related, as she also teaches us that there are things that we can apply to anywhere in life, as we could face challenges anywhere and her life teachings can be applied in those situations. Thanks to Greta, more and more people are aware about climate change. Some governments are adopting greener policies. Some businesses are investing in renewable energy, and young people are leading the charge for a sustainable future. But another key point worth mentioning is that her leadership isn't about being perfect. It's about trying, learning, and inspiring others to act. So, before we wrap up today's episode, let me ask you this. What's your passion? What's one thing you care about enough for that you can stand up for it? Thank you for tuning in to Leaders of Tomorrow. I hope Greta's story has inspired you as much as it has inspired me. Remember, Greta Thunberg shows us that leadership is about courage, resilience, and action. She didn't wait for permission to make a difference. She just did it. She made a positive difference without being asked. And if a teenager like her can inspire millions, imagine what you can do, all as a kid. But until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and remember that you don't have to talk to politicians and attend meetings with the UN just to make a difference. You can start your own clubs at school or stand up for what you think is right. Anyhow, there is a lot to take away from Greta. I hope you enjoyed this episode and left with a lot to take away from. This is Ishan Agarwal, signing off. Goodbye!